Lego investing has boomed in the recent years with countless new investors entering the market. Now, unlike normal investments, Lego investing actually becomes less lucrative with the more investors that are in the market. But despite this, the opportunities to make money from Lego investing are now maybe better than ever. So in this video, we're going to go through why this may be the golden era of Lego investing and how you can capitalize on some extraordinary returns. So in the normal world of investing, say such as stock or crypto and even gold, the more investors that are in the market, the more the price is driven up. But with Lego, it's almost the opposite effect happens. Now that is because the more investors that are in the market, especially within one set, the more that the price for that set is going to actually go down because there will be competition driven price gouging, because there will be so much more competition. So everyone is trying to make that sale as quickly as possible, and little by little, it becomes a race to the bottom. So with this in mind, you would actually have expected Lego investing to have gotten worse over the past few years, as there have been so many more Lego investors. In my opinion, they have definitely not got worse and maybe even have gotten better, especially considering this boom of all the new investors, mainly driven, I believe, from these articles that are how Lego is worth more than gold and how these YouTubers talk about investing in a child's toy online. So why is Lego investing so good? So the short answer is that the demand for Lego has never been higher. Since 2020, when Lego really changed to real target that adult market, such as the 18+ sets, the black box art and all of that, which is really great stuff. And I think you have to take a minute and step back and congratulate Lego, because they have done an amazing job on capturing this adult market. And let's be honest, the adults are the ones buying these expensive sets, the retired sets. Their kids, they just want some Lego to play with. They don't have money, they have to rely on their parents. So it is all about the adult. I think one of the big drivers for all of these adults getting into Lego is the nostalgia. And I even think for myself, there's sets that I didn't have when I was a kid, but I have my own disposable income now, so I can buy these sets. Even though they are a high price, I can actually afford to buy them. Obviously the ones that I missed out on and that I really wanted as a kid. Another reason why Lego investing has gotten so good is because of the rise in popularity of sites like Bricklink, and also I think Whatnot as well. Whatnot has seemed to have become a really big thing with the Lego community. I would say from my experience, it's definitely a much larger thing in America. It doesn't really seem to be too big in the UK. So for someone like me, I don't really ever use Whatnot because I don't really want to start getting stuff shipped from the US, because by the time you have to start paying shipping, it doesn't really seem that good. And some of the prices on Whatnot from the streams I have watched are just insane. And you could literally just go on eBay or Bricklink and pick up the set on a buy it now for much cheaper. And I think it just goes to show the live auction thing can really just have people get carried away and almost not doing their research before, and they just get caught up in that excitement and even spend a bit too much. So I think Whatnot is actually a really great place to be selling Lego investments, and it's something that I'm definitely going to be looking to hopefully use at some point in the future. Now, another reason why I think Lego investing has gotten so big is because of the pop culture that Lego has started to capture and really go quite hard on this in the past few years. Now, themes such as Lego Ideas really helps. Obviously, we've got the massive IPs like the Marvel and the Star Wars. They've pretty much always been about, and even the resurgence of the Harry Potter line in 2018, I think has brought a boatload of new Lego fans in because they're fans of Harry Potter. And I think also generally, you'd probably find that the Harry Potter audience is swayed more towards girls and women, which helps bring in the female market to Lego, because I think the male market is always quite strong, and probably if you averaged it out, there is a higher percentage of Lego male fans than females. But I think the Harry Potter sets have really helped Lego capture a lot more female fans. So if we take a really good example of why the pop culture has helped with Lego investing, we just need to look at the Friends Apartment set that got retired last year. Now, obviously, Matthew Perry unfortunately did die last year, and rest in peace to him, and it was absolutely tragic loss. But maybe this did have an impact on the Friends Apartment set, and more people wanted it, and the price got driven up quicker post-retirement. That may be a factor, but I think the main factor is it's just a cool set. People have that nostalgia for Friends. I remember watching Friends as I was growing up, and I still love the show now. When it's on TV, I'm happy to watch Friends, and I really want the Friends Apartment set. I don't actually have it, I never bought it, but I think that is a perfect example of how pop culture has really had a positive impact on Lego investing. Another thing with Lego investing and Lego Ideas and pop culture is the Office set. Obviously that's retiring at the end of this year. I can't can't seem to find it anywhere anymore. I think it's out of stock pretty much everywhere, at least here in the UK. And I think that's another set that's going to do really well on the aftermarket. And all of the stock has run out from all of the retailers, both online and in store. And I think we can see some really good returns on this. I have a few. I can't remember if I have 3 or 4 of the Office set, but I think it's going to do really well. I've also got one for myself because I really like the set and it's great. Obviously, I feel like a lot of people have wanted the Office for a lot of years. I would say it had a reasonably short shelf life for how popular the show is. And I think this is one of those sets where you'd probably get better returns in the US than over here because it is the US version of The Office. I mean, anyone who's anyone knows that the US version is better than the UK version anyway, but I do think The Office has more of a loyal following over in the US. Another thing I would kind of tie in with the pop culture thing is the Formula One. Obviously, we've just had the big announcement of all the Lego Formula One sets coming next year. And I think this is going to be another thing that really helps. There are so many people that are loving Formula One since Drive to Survive, and Lego has really captured that growing interest and really gotten a hold of that Formula One market. Now, we haven't really had any good Formula One sets retire recently. So for me, it's very much watching about how the first few that do retire, how well they go. Obviously, we've got the Mercedes Double Speed Champions pack retiring at the end of this year, and probably next year, maybe the year after, we've got the big Technic McLaren. Who knows how long that's going to last, if they'll keep that out for a number of years now that there is the F1 announcement, but hopefully it won't last too much longer, and then we can get some good returns on the retirement of that set. But I think the problem with the Formula One sets will be, I think a lot of fans won't really mind what car they get. So if you're a Mercedes fan, you probably just want a Lego Mercedes car, and you probably won't be too bothered if it's the car from a couple of years ago or if you get the new car that's coming out next year. Now, whilst we're on the subject of pop culture, the last theme I want to touch on is Star Wars. And with Star Wars, obviously it's a timeless Lego theme, probably still the most popular one out there. And I think from my perspective, I'm not really a massive Lego Star Wars fan or a Star Wars fan in general. To me, it does seem that they're coming out with quite a decent amount of like older sets. They're sort of redoing them, making them better, updating them. I know a lot of fans have a lot of issues with a lot of the Star Wars sets, but I think overall they're doing some really great things. And I think the big thing with Lego Star Wars that they seem to be doing over the past few years is just the sheer size of these sets. If we think about over the past sort of 8 years, 7 years, how many large sets we've got. We've had the Falcon, the Star Destroyer, the Razor Crest, the AT-AT, the Venator, just to name a few off the top of my head as someone who's not a massive Lego Star Wars collector. It just goes to show that actually there is that market there for people to be buying these huge sets at that really high price. So then when you then take something like the Mos Eisley Cantina, it's a couple £100 cheaper than some of those sets. And whilst it's maybe not as great as a display piece as a model, you do get so many great figures. And I do think that is a set that really could capture those higher prices, sort of similar to what the UCS Razor Crest goes for at retail. Now, continuing with this theme of the really expensive prices, it's that most people can't keep up. And I think this is another thing that really helps us Lego investors nowadays, is that Lego comes out with so many sets and so many big sets, not just in Star Wars, but in general. It's really hard to keep up. Like, even for me, as someone with a lot of disposable income to spend on Lego nowadays, there are so many sets I still want. There's sets that are retiring this year that I haven't managed to pick up yet. And even if we take a set like the Colosseum that retired a couple of years ago, I would have liked to have picked that up. I hadn't had the chance at the time, and I might go back and get that at some point. So for me, with this in mind, you've got to think about people who have to save up for these larger sets. Maybe they save up for a matter of months, maybe it's a couple of years to buy a big set. In my opinion, if they're saving up all of that time to try and buy a set such as the massive Hogwarts Express that's retiring this year, that's £430, are they really going to have too much of a problem spending an extra, say, £100 on that set, although they might not be happy about it? If they've been saving up for that much time, I don't think they're then just going to give up because it's retired, and they would probably still buy it even with gritted teeth. And I think this is another thing that is helping us Lego investors, is that most people can't keep up, and for the people that are exponentially increasing their income, they won't mind spending that little bit extra a couple of years down the line to afford a set that they couldn't afford when it retired a couple of years ago. So the next thing I want to talk about is the amazing sales, at least here in the UK, that we seem to be getting on Lego nowadays. Like, some of them are actually crazy. If I think a couple of years back, when I was looking at like around this sort of time of year, expecting there to be some really good deals, there just wasn't. There was barely any sets on sale at all. But if we look at how many sets Lego have put on sale this year, it's actually pretty crazy in my opinion. Like, yes, the Black Friday offers that released today when I'm recording this video, they were pretty bad. I would say the only real standout for me was that Sonic Green Hill Zone at 40% off. The rest of them were pretty crap. But if we take Insiders Weekend, there were some really good deals. The A-frame cabin, the UCS AT-AT, even the Nintendo NES and the NASA Space Shuttle. These are some really great sets that LEGO have got on offer. I'm surprised some of them are still available. Obviously, a lot of them sold out. The UCS 8080, I was planning on getting one. I stayed up till midnight. I kind of left it like 15, 20 minutes and then tried to go on and get it. And it just sold out instantly. And it just goes to show that how popular that massive set, even at, I think it was about £580 still, was still so popular at high price point. And yes, there was a good discount, double VIP points and gift with purchases, but you still have to have all of that money available to you to be able to buy that in the first place. Also, like other sites such as Amazon and Argos have had some great sales. So another one that I sort of comes to mind today was you could pick up the Concorde, I think for £103 on Argos because there was an extra £10 off with a voucher. I recently picked up the UCS Millennium Falcon for I think about £520 from Argos again. Smith's Toys had a really good discount that was £5 off every £50 you spent at LEGO. Shop Disney have had some great discounts, and I think all of this put together has really helped the LEGO investing because it helps create the no-brainer scenarios, which I will touch on again later on in this video. So the next thing I want to talk about is my LEGO investing habits from this year. So in the past 6 months, I've probably bought more LEGO for investing than I have for my entire life combined. Now, the main thing that has driven this is just because I've been making a lot more money with my business, so I have a lot more money to be able to invest in LEGO. And just being completely transparent with you, that is the main reason why. It's not just because the deals are so great, but also there are so many great sets that are retiring and there has been great deals on those sets. So just to give you an idea of roughly how much I've been buying in the last 6 months or so, I think it's 8 boxes in my warehouse a couple of doors down from where I am now in my LEGO studio that is full of LEGO sets for investing. And these are all just like the smaller sets. The bigger sets obviously are just sort of keep looser in their shipping boxes. So these 8 boxes that I'm talking about are probably double the size nearly of the Titanic shipping box. So they're pretty damn big boxes. So there's lots of sets in there. And the majority of this I have bought in the last 6 months because they're just absolute no-brainers. So one of the sets I managed to pick up was a Speed Champions McLaren car that was literally £10. Now I was lucky because it was a deal exclusive for Amazon business customers. You couldn't get it at such a good deal on the normal Amazon site. And it was just insane. Like obviously that set's not even retiring, but I bought them for like, I think I bought 30 at just less than £10 a piece. There's been some other great deals. The Speed Champions, to be honest, have been really in my mind recently because I've seen a lot of them, like the Lamborghini Countach. I'm pretty sure I've picked them up for about £12 each on Amazon. And the great thing when you're picking up sets at these sorts of discounts is that when you go to resell them, you only need to be able to sell them at their retail price to make a profit. As long as you think / know that the set is worth its retail price, which for Speed Champions, it definitely is, especially with ones like the Lamborghini Countach that were only $19.99 compared to the ones that came out this year for $20.99, and then next year they're going to be another £1 more expensive. So by the time they're retired, the retail price for Speed Champions is already £2 higher than the retail price for the Lamborghini Countach. So if you sell that set for £20, which will make you a small profit when you've bought it at 12, it's already going to seem like a really good deal. And for a car that's as iconic as the Lamborghini Countach, it's just an absolute no-brainer for me. And one of the things that I have been liking recently is by buying all of these small sets, you can have more of a spread. And when you dollar cost average it all, you're probably still going to be making some really good money because there'll be some sets that do better than others. Maybe some you only make a very small profit or break even, but some you will probably make some outsized returns. So another set that pops into my mind that I completely missed out on was the Nano Gauntlet. So that seems to be sold out everywhere, at least here in the UK. It was exclusive to LEGO and Amazon, so that probably doesn't help with the stock levels, but that is already going for about £20 to £30 above retail price. And that was always one of those sets you could at least buy off Amazon for sort of a £10 discount. So you're looking at a pre-tax and pre-eBay fees and whatever other fees profit of about £30 on that set, and we're not even at the end of the year that it's retiring on. And I think it just goes to show that how much of an opportunity there are out there, even in sets like that I didn't think had too much potential for an investment. Now for me, with the bigger sets, I try and buy them at the end of the year, so I've been buying more of the bigger sets very recently within the last month or so, just because I know there's always going to be good deals at the end of the year, so I try to pass on them earlier in the year in the hope that I can find them at the end of the year where I don't have to store them for as long. And for me, I'm very happy to miss out on deals. I'd rather miss out on a deal because I think sometimes you can make more money by missing on deals than you can by taking them. Just because something is a good opportunity doesn't mean you need to buy it. So for me, a great example of this is the Mos Eisley Cantina. I know I said earlier about the fact that I think it will probably go up in price quite significantly. I've actually passed on this because at the time when it was on sale at John Lewis for, I think it was about got £100 off. I didn't really want to be buying them and storing them, so I passed on it, and I knew that if it went back on sale, which it hasn't as of yet, I would buy more up. But at full retail price, I don't want to be at that massive disadvantage to all the other investors that got in at £100 less than me. So for me, a set like that is an absolute no-go, because I don't want to start off at such a huge disadvantage. So the final thing I want to talk about in this video is actually what I look for in investment. So I'm going to go through what factors play into my decisions when I make my investment choices. So one of them is something that I touched on earlier with the Nano Gauntlet. It's exclusive sets. Now, exclusive sets always have the potential to do really well, because sometimes the supply may not be there. Best example I can think about from recent years is the Forks, the Phoenix Harry Potter set from a couple of years back. Now in the UK, that was exclusive to Lego and Argos. And I kid you not, like half the year of the final year that it was out, it was just out of stock. I bought up loads of these. I reckon I bought 40 or 50 in the year, and I just flipped them as I went, because they kept going on sale on Argos every time they were back in stock. And then Argos would have no stock for the next couple of months. So then this drove the price up of that set really quickly. Even before it had retired, I was able to sell this for like 50 or 60 pounds over on Amazon, when I think I was paying about 25 to 30 pound a set. And this is just a great example of one of those sets that maybe they just had lower production of because it was exclusive to just Argos and Lego. And this lower supply within the market really does help improve the outsized returns on certain sets, which is why exclusive sets are always worth researching and keeping an eye on those stock levels, because if you see that they go out of stock quite regularly, especially at the retailer they're from, because generally you'll find with an exclusive set, it's the retailer other than Lego that would put them on sale. So it's always worth watching them and watching if they go out of stock, so you get a good idea of whether the supply is going to be limited. And when they do go out of stock, you then need to check eBay and see what they're selling for, weigh up what the profit is on that, and that will give you a really good idea of what profits you can make sort of as a minimum by the time the set has retired. Another thing I touched on earlier is getting sets at a heavy discount. Now in, I believe, my last Lego investing video, I spoke about the Green Hill Sonic Lego Ideas set, and I said I was going to pass on it. I've actually gone back on that, and I've bought, I think, 4 of them now, because they were on sale on Amazon a few weeks or a week or two ago, and I got one for 40 quid. And then they were also on sale for Black Friday at Lego for £42. So I bought another couple so I could get the gift with purchases, get the VIP points and get cash back. So you're probably looking at, by the time I take the cash back, the VIP points and the gift with purchases off, I'm paying somewhere between £30 and £35 for like a £70 set. So it's just an absolute no-brainer. I can sell it for less than retail price and still make a profit on it. And also the set is already selling at £65 on Amazon. So by the time the sets that I ordered today arrive, I could ship them straight off to Amazon and instantly make probably at least 10 or 20 pounds profit per set. And these are those things that you really need to look out for. So when there are really good deals, like I mentioned earlier, you've got to think, is this set going to be capable of selling at retail price? If so, how much profit can you make? If you can make at least a small profit, then it's just a great investment, because your gamble is very simple. So if your gamble is a coin flip, it's heads, you win a small profit by selling it at retail price. Tails, you're going to make an outsized return because it's going to go way above retail price once it retires. And this is an absolute key staple for me in my Lego investing strategy nowadays. After reading the book, The Dando Investor, it was a really great book on investing, and it's really helped shape my Lego investing philosophy this year. And I've been thinking my next Lego investing video might be something related to that book, because it's honestly such a great book on investing, and I think it definitely does carry over into Lego investing, because the big thing he talks about in that book is taking high return, low risk bets. So it's heads, I win, tails, I don't lose much. And with these sets where you're getting such steep discounts where you can make a bit of a profit at retail price, it's one of those Dando principles that is, like I just mentioned, heads, you win a lot, tails, you don't lose much. But let me know down in the comments what your opinions are on Lego investing and how well you've done this year. I'm very excited to see how much of the price of these sets that I've invested in so far this year go up within the next year or so. And thank you very much for watching. And if you got something out of this video, please subscribe to the channel to keep up to date when I make more videos on Lego investing and Lego in general, such as building out my new Lego studio.